let's go ahead and get into our comfortable cross-legged position this morning. Making any minor adjustments here to get nice and comfortable. Want to achieve that posture that's energized and relaxed. And once we find that sweet spot, we can close our eyes, or the eyes can be softly open. You might gaze at a point just a couple of feet in front of you if that's more comfortable for you. The hands can rest comfortably in the lap or on the thighs. The spine is nice and straight. The shoulders are relaxed and away from the ears. And the chin is slightly tucked to bring length to the back of the neck. The tongue can rest comfortably behind the front teeth. And you might imagine that the crown of the head is gently pulling you up towards the sky. And then you can bring your awareness to your breath. We might start with Ujjayi breath, where we bring a small constriction to the back of the throat that creates an ocean-like sound as we take an inhale and an exhale. You might imagine that the inhale is like the wave as it comes into shore. And the exhale is like the wave as it goes back out to sea. Just take a few breaths with Ujjayi breath here. Now you can let your breath return to its normal rate and rhythm, noticing any sensations you're feeling as a result of having taken Ujjayi breath. Maybe you feel energized or relaxed. Then you might set an intention for your practice today. Maybe your intention is to be fully present here for the next 30 minutes or so, to set your worries and anxieties aside. Whatever your intention is, bring that to mind. And then we can slowly open the eyes. And we're going to start in our seated position here. We'll take the right hand and place it to the outside of the right hip. Left hand can come up towards the sky, and we'll take a nice gentle side bend towards the right. And then we'll simply take that same side bend off to the other side. Left hand comes to the outside of the left hip. Right hand floats up towards the sky. We take a nice gentle side bend towards the left. And then we'll take the hands and place them in front of us. We'll walk them in front of us till you feel that nice gentle stretch in the back. And then you can let the head hang heavy here. Maybe you take a couple of head shakes here from side to side, saying no, up and down, saying yes. And then we'll return back up to our seated position. We'll take the hands, place them behind the hips with the fingers facing forward, opening the chest towards the sky. And then we can return upright and we'll simply come into our tabletop position. As we come into the tabletop, Getting there nice and slowly, transitioning between postures slowly this morning as we get started. And we'll start by taking some cats and some cows, arching the back, letting the belly fall towards the ground. And maybe there's an exhale as you round the back and an inhale as you let the belly fall. You might close your eyes here. Might help to bring your awareness inward. And then we'll return the spine to a neutral position here. Then we'll just take some circles. We'll start in a clockwise direction. You can take the fingers and point them out towards the side, giving your wrists a little bit of a stretch here, but only if that feels right for you. If you're going clockwise, you can reverse your direction. And then when you're ready, we'll take the hands, place them forwards, and we'll come into our first downward facing dog. Pedaling out the feet here. Taking other movements that feel good for you. Let's come up onto the tiptoes and we'll send the heels off to the right, creating a stretch in the left side of the legs. And then we'll return to center and we'll send the heels off to the left. Breathing into the stretch. And then we can return back to center and we're going to slowly walk the feet up to meet the hands at the front of the mat. We can find our first forward fold. Maybe it's a ragdoll where we're holding on to the elbows here, letting the head hang heavy. Maybe you gently shift your weight from left to right, noticing how that feels. For a deeper forward fold, maybe we clasp the hands behind the lower back, and then we can let the hands float away from the body. And there can be a nice bend in the knee here as we create a stretch for the shoulders and upper back. And then we'll unclasp the hands and we'll slowly slinky roll up to a standing position. Inhale the hands up towards the sky. Exhale the hands to the center of the chest. And let's come into our mountain pose here. You might even look down at your feet. You might lift all 10 toes and then place them back down on the mat, splaying them out, supporting you here. Taking a deep breath in and letting the breath go. There can be a nice small bend in the knees. The tailbone is slightly tucked. Nice straight spine. Notice if your shoulders have hunched up towards your ears. If they have, maybe you even roll them back to keep them away from the ears. And then we'll take a sun salutation by inhaling the arms up towards the sky, exhaling into a forward fold. Inhaling to create a flat back here. Hands can be on the shins. Exhaling, forward fold. We'll do another sun salutation just like that. As we inhale to rise, we keep a nice small bend in the knees. Exhaling, hands to heart center. Inhaling, arms to rise. Exhale into a forward fold. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, forward fold. And let's just do one more like that. Inhaling, arms to rise. Exhaling, hands to heart center. Inhaling, arms to rise. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale to a halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. And in our forward fold now, create a nice bend in the knee so that the hands can meet the mat. Left foot steps back, right foot steps back, and we're in our high plank here. creating a nice straight line from the backs of the heels all the way up to the crown of the head. Holding for just a couple more breaths here. Feeling how all 4 points of your body that meet the mat are supporting you. And then we're going to gently lower all the way down to the mat. And when we get there, we're going to take a baby cobra. So just a nice, small, gentle back bend. The hands are right underneath the shoulders. You can feel the tops of the feet as they meet the mat. We're just pushing up gently until we feel a nice back bend. Breathing into that stretch. And then we'll tuck the toes as we push back up, hips rise, and we're in our downward dog. The right leg can lift up towards the sky. We'll place it between the hands for a warrior one. So the back heel is down. The arms can lift up towards the sky. Making some minor adjustments here till you get that nice, strong line of energy from the back heel all the way up to the crown of the head. Breathing into your warrior one. Let it go. And then we're going to let the back heel come up off the mat and come into our crescent lunge or our high lunge. And then from here, we're going to take an east-west twist. So the left hand is going to come forward. The right hand is going to come back. It's going to take some balance here. So you might pick a point of focus, just a couple of feet in front of you on the floor, or maybe a spot on the wall. And then we'll reverse our twist for just a breath. Hands come down to the mat. Right foot can meet the left. And we'll go back into our downward facing dog. This time the left foot lifts, and we'll find our warrior one on the left-hand side. Once again, taking those minor adjustments until you find just the right position here so that you can feel nice and strong in your warrior one. The back leg is strong. The front knee is just above the front ankle. One more breath in. Let it go. And then let's peel that back heel up off the mat. The right hand comes forward. The left hand comes back for our east-west twist on the other side. Once again, you might pick a point of focus to help with balance. We'll reverse here for just a breath. And then we'll windmill the hands back down to the mat. Left foot meets the right, hips lift, downward facing dog. This time when we lift the right foot, we're going to open up the hips into our three-legged dog. A nice hip opening posture here. You might make some small circles with your ankle. And then we're going to place that right foot between the hands for a runner's lunge. Hands can either be on tented fingers on either side of the foot, or you might place them on top of blocks or something else that helps you to straighten that spine as much as possible. We'll rock our weight forwards and back here. And then when we come back to that neutral position, we're going to challenge ourselves here this morning. So we're going to let the hands float up off the mat behind us as we hover over that front knee for just a couple breaths here. And then we'll let the left hand come down to the inside of the right foot. Right hand floats up towards the sky. And then we can place the back knee down onto the mat. And we're simply going to take our right hand, place it to the inside of the right thigh. And we're going to put that right front foot to a 45-degree angle. And we're going to gently push the thigh away as we peek over the right shoulder. Once again, a nice hip opening stretch here. And then as we come back to center, we can roll onto the outside of that front foot. And we can either stay right here with our hands to the inside of that foot, or maybe we come down to the forearms for our lizard pose. Breathing into those areas where you're feeling the stretch, or maybe you're feeling some tightness. And then we'll come back up to the hands. We're going to swing the right leg around so that we're in our tabletop, but only for a moment as the hips rise up into our downward dog. This time the left leg lifts. We'll place that left foot between the hands. We're on our runner's lunge now on the left-hand side, where we take those small movements forwards and back, noticing any sensations, how it feels different as we shift our weight. And then when we come to that neutral position, once again, we're going to let the hands float up off the mat behind us as we hover over that front knee for just a couple breaths. Using the breath here to help. And then the right hand comes to the inside of the front foot. The left hand floats up towards the sky. And then we'll bring that hand back down. Take that front foot, it comes to a 45-degree angle. The back knee comes down, and once again, we're pressing to the inside of that thigh and peeking over our left shoulder. And then we can roll to the outside of the front foot, and the hands can either stay here to the inside of the foot, or we come down to the forearms for our lizard pose. And then we're going to keep that left foot so that it's on the left side of the mat. And we're going to bring the right foot to the right side of the mat, and we're going to come into our malasana squat. So you might want to place a cushion underneath your bottom if that's more comfortable. You're just going to take your elbows and place them to the inside of your knees. The hands can come into that heart center. And maybe you stay here, or maybe you close the eyes for a moment. And then we're going to take the hands, place them on the mat in front of us, and just simply take our knees back so that we're in our tabletop position. So we're in our tabletop. Take a couple more cat-cows here. And when we reach that neutral position, we're going to take the right hand and point it forward, the left foot and bring it back. Either the left foot stays down on the mat, or maybe it floats up and we create that nice line from the back heel all the way to the tips of the front fingers. Holding here for just a couple more breaths. And then we'll bring the hand down, bring the knee down, and we'll take that same position on the other side. So now the left hand points forward, the right heel comes back, holding here, or maybe that right leg floats up. Bringing the hand back down to the mat, the knee back down to the mat, and we'll take our tabletop twist. So the right hand floats up towards the sky, and we'll thread it underneath that left arm. The front arm can either come forward, or maybe you wrap it around your back if that feels good. Return back up to our tabletop. And this time we'll take the twist on the other side. So the left hand reaches up towards the sky. We'll thread it underneath that right arm. The right arm can either come in front of us, or we can bind it by bringing it around the back. We'll return back to our tabletop, and now we're going to keep the hips where they are, and we're simply going to walk the hands forward as we come into our inchworm by placing the forehead or the chin down on the mat. There can be a bend in the elbows here if that's more comfortable. Sometimes that gives the shoulders a little bit of relief. And then we'll simply shift our weight forward so that we come into our Sphinx posture. So for our Sphinx, this is another gentle back bend. The elbows are underneath the shoulders, the fingers are pointing forwards. And we're opening the chest towards the front of the room. We're not hunching into the shoulders. It's a nice active posture here. You should feel a nice gentle stretch in the lower back. And from here, we'll push back up to our tabletop, and however you want to come into a seated posture, I'll meet you there. We're going to take the right leg and bring it long in front of us. And we'll take Jana Shasana, where we'll take a forward fold over that straight right leg. There can be a nice bend in the knee if that's most comfortable. You can simply walk your hands forward until you feel that point where you feel that stretch. And then we'll rise up and we'll take that same forward fold, this time over the left leg. Once again, there can be a nice bend. We can walk the hands forward until we feel a stretch. Finding your own practice, your own sweet spot. Breathing into that stretch. Maybe we close the eyes here. And then we'll rise back up and we'll take Baddha Konasana. So we'll bring the feet together just in front of the hips. The elbows can press down gently on the insides of the thighs if that feels good. And you can either stay upright here or you can gently fold over your feet. And then we'll rise back up and we'll simply bring our feet around and we can lie down on our backs on the mat. And we'll hug the knees into the chest and we can rock gently from side to side. Maybe the eyes close here. Once again, we go inward with our awareness, noticing any sensations we're feeling right now. Do you feel like your thoughts are taking you away from this practice? Just gently guide your awareness back to the present moment, back to your breath, back to these postures. We'll keep the right knee into the chest. We'll lengthen the left leg, and then we're going to send that right knee across the body. The right arm can come out towards the side, and our gaze can be over that right hand. Breathing in, breathing out. Slowing down here, come back to center. We'll hug the left knee into the chest now, and we'll send the left knee across the body. The left arm comes out to the side, and maybe our gaze is over that left hand. And then we can place the hands underneath the hips, and the feet can float up towards the ceiling. We can come into our final Shavasana by allowing the legs to go long in front of us. There's a space between the legs. The arms are alongside the body. The palms are pointed upwards. Once again, taking some minor adjustments here so that you can get totally comfortable in your Shavasana and so that you can be totally relaxed for the next few moments of your practice this morning. Maybe you cultivate feelings of gratitude to yourself for having taken the time to practice this morning. And if it helps to be fully present, just follow your breath. Imagine that the breath is circulating throughout the body, bringing you a sense of peace and calm as it circulates. Maybe you start to invite some small movements back into your body as your breath deepens. You might start to wiggle your fingers and your toes. Maybe you rock the head from side to side. And then keeping your eyes closed here, you can roll onto one side. And then once again, with the eyes closed, you can push up to a seated position. And for the next moment, I just invite you to bring back to mind that intention that you set at the beginning of our practice this morning. And maybe we carry that intention through the rest of this day and through the days ahead. And so with that in mind, we can start to open our eyes, return to this room. It's wonderful practicing with you this morning. My friend here joined us for the last minute or so of Shavasana. I hope that you have a great day, and I hope to see you soon. Oh, that's okay. I don't know why. I don't have time. I don't love.